Welcome to Subaru Cubs Pregame. Hollinsworth, the 96th Rookie of the Year. I'm David Kaplan. All right, a rough weekend. Drop another series. Cubs lose 2 of 3 to the Reds, and they move Marlon Byrd to Boston. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Marlon, it's going to be a great opportunity for him. I mean, the expectations are going to be high. Yes, it wasn't working for Marlon here in Chicago any longer. Clearly, what we saw, effort was there defensively. Certainly, the bright smile and the enthusiasm that he brings to the field every day was always there, but struggling at the plate. And I believe that a lot of what was going on is the circumstances of this team. Pressing, pushing, trying to be effective, trying to get himself out of an early season slump, all factored into the struggles he had at the plate early on, but he didn't take it out on defense. This is going to be a great opportunity for him. Yes, he's going to Boston. Yes, there's a million stories coming out of Boston right now, a million reasons why people are attacking them, attacking the clubhouse, attacking the manager, trying to figure out what's going on there. But all in all, it is an opportunity for him, and it's an opportunity to go to a team that's playing with some expectations. So hopefully it works out well for him. I will tell you this, that big, bright smile that he has is certainly going to enlighten that clubhouse a little bit.
Right, and he will be in the lineup for Boston tonight, hitting in the 9-hole and playing center field. And, you know, with Jacoby Ellsbury banged up, this is a guy who he'll have to step in and play until they get their star back, but then the pressure comes off.
No, I think for Marlon, this is, again, a great opportunity. Just because it's Marlon Byrd and we love him and we loved how he went about his business here in Chicago. But for me, he's the type of player that really can succeed on a team with bigger stars. I think here in Chicago, for me, Marlon's a really good role player. When you have other stars around him, he rises to the top, and so does his game. And what you saw here was that more was put on him to be the #3 hitter in the lineup, to produce home runs, to drive in 85 runs. And Marlon really hasn't done that throughout his career. He's been a great addition to a good ball club, and I think that's what he becomes on a pretty talented offense in Boston. So this will set itself up well for him if he goes in there, realizes he's got stars all around him. If he just does his thing, they'll fall in love with him real fast.
All right, and then Michael Bowden comes over. He is from Waubonsee Valley High School, western suburbs of Chicago. He gets to come home. It's a new, fresh start for him as well.
Well, and that's exactly it. Fresh start. That's what you want to talk about here. Fresh opportunity. Team that's it's finding its direction. It's finding its way. I hate to say open tryout, but that's kind of the feeling we get right now when you've got a team that hasn't won a series yet this year. They're 4-12, and well, they're making moves based on the future and making moves on the future this season. You step in, you get it done. You're going to watch your stock rise with this club and in baseball. So this is a team that's screaming opportunity right now for young players.
All right, now a lot of Cub fans are hoping prize prospect outfielder Brett Jackson would replace Byrd, but that will not be the case right now. Rotation expected between Tony Campana, Joe Mather, and Reed Johnson in center field. Cubs very high on Jackson, but would like to see him get more at-bats. Class AAA Iowa before being called up. Let's hear what Dale Swaim had to say.
He still, needs to develop. He's still striking out a little too much, and he needs to be a little more conscious and a little bit better in that situation because, if you're striking out that much in AAA, then it's going to be that much more in the big league pitching. So, the development part is big for everybody, and I think until you get those 500 at-bats in AAA, that's something I think the organization and Theo really wants to impress on our young guys is you're going to stay and play and develop.
Now, the other thing is, and we look at the numbers on Brett Jackson and Anthony Rizzo, people are saying, well, if the team's not going to be any good, bring the young kids up and let them develop here. But when you start their service time clock, much as the mistake was made when Starlin Castro was brought up May 1st as opposed to waiting 6 weeks, that decision alone will cost the Cubs between $6 and $8 million. You were a highly touted prospect at one point. This gives you an extra year to hang on to guys.
Well, and number one, I'm going to tell you that is a large percentage of the reason. I'm not going to say 100%. What I am going to say is this. You also want to have a winning atmosphere with your youth in your system coming up. Right now, there's bad karma. This is a team that's struggling. They haven't won a series yet this year. They haven't played good baseball. Fundamentally, they haven't been strong. Offensively, they haven't been strong. Starting pitching was good at first, and it's been struggling a bit of late. There's not good vibes coming out of Chicago right now on the north side and out of that clubhouse. Calling up young guys, that's what they're going to see. That's what they're going to feel. That's what they're going to digest initially into their big league career. So, yes, you want it to be as great an opportunity for them. They want to be excited to play, know that they're trying to get their feet down in the big leagues and prove that they belong. But you also want everything that's going on around them to be a very positive thing, and right now it's just not.
All right, we'll see what happens. Time to turn our attention to today's ball game. It's the Cardinals and the Cubs tonight at Wrigley. First pitch just after 7 o'clock. St. Louis has won all 6 of its series this season. One of those a one-game series to open up the new Marlins Park. The Cubs still in search of a series victory. If you look at the tail of the tape, Cards have been one of the best teams in the league thanks to their National League best .281 team batting average, and that's without Albert Pujols.
No, they've won every series this season. I mean, let me tell you, they're 10-5 in the Central. They beat the Reds. They beat the Brewers. They beat the Pirates. They beat the Cubs. This is a team that's very, very good. Talent-wise, you talk about the batting average. They're first in home runs, second in runs. Their earned run average in the National League is fourth at a .284. The thing that's different about the Cardinals this year, and this is what Cardinal fans are excited about, it's not the same cast of characters. It's not Chris Carpenter. It's not Adam Wainwright. It's guys stepping in like a Matt Carpenter. Carlos Beltran's got 5 home runs coming in. Rafael Furcal has been the best leadoff hitter in the National League so far. It's reasons that they would not have picked out at the beginning of the season. What it speaks to is the depth and how this winning atmosphere continues to move on without Albert Pujols.
All right, time now for our Joe Stonecrab. What's at stake? How about the continued dominance of Matt Garza at the friendly confines of Wrigley Field? In his last 13 starts at Wrigley, dating back to June 27 of last season, Garza, a dirty 1.79 ERA, allowing 3 or fewer runs in each of those outings.
I was going to use your word dirty, but that's exactly what he has been. He has been their go-to guy at home, and outside of the hiccup in Miami last week, he's been as advertised. I mean, he's going to have to pitch inside tonight. He's going to have to be aggressive. This is a talented St. Louis Cardinals lineup, and what you're going to find out tonight about Matt Garza is how he's going to stack up against one of the best lineups in the National League. So that's going to be his challenge tonight. He's going to really have to command both sides of the plate. It's not going to be about his stuff. It's going to be about pitching inside. This Cardinals lineup, boy, they go the other way to a man. They understand situations. This is a veteran group. And all the way through the lineup, you're going to see it in just a little bit. I mean, these guys will go the other way. We got a little taste of that just the other weekend, and that's how they play their games. They're going to make you pitch. They're going to make you throw strikes. They're going to make you command both sides of the plate. And if you make mistakes out over the plate, they're going to make you pay.
Garza ranks 10th in the National League with 21 strikeouts, and his stuff has been good. You look at the record, 1-1. Cubs bullpen blew the one game that he should have had a victory in his first start of the season. ERA is 3.66, a little inflated because of a rough outing in Florida. And you see the number of innings pitched, the walks, the strikeouts, and he's given up 3 long balls.
No, he's been our man. I mean, this is Matt Garza has been the person I pegged to become the #1 in this rotation for years to come, if he is here. And really, he's just in a very odd situation of whether he's going to stay or be going. That's for the higher-ups to decide, for the Theos and the Jeds to decide whether they want to keep him long-term or let him go somewhere else. But clearly, I feel as though he is making that turn. He's turning the corner and becoming elite. What we've seen in years past is the progression. Last year, I thought he became real strong in the second half. He certainly was our best guy. But taking that next step to the next level is knowing that you're going to go up against everybody else's #1s and still win, still dominate, and we can rely on you to stop losing streaks. Matt Garza is going to be tested to do that this year, and I think it's going to certainly tell a lot about who he is and who he's becoming with this season.
Time now for the Comcast Business Edge as we look. Matt Garza's mound opponent is Jaime Garcia. Let's check out how Jaime Garcia fares. 2-0 this season with a 3.06 ERA, and he is filthy. Garcia 2-0 with a 2.11 in 3 starts against the Chicago Cubs last season.
Well, he's going to have to be down, down, down. I talk about this an awful lot. If he wants to be effective, and he has been effective against the Cubs, he's going to be down in the strike zone. You're going to see the ball, as you're seeing right there, moving down into the bottom half of the strike zone, getting ground ball outs. He's coming off his best start. He went 7 innings against the Cincinnati Reds, 4 ground ball double plays. There's a couple things I kind of keyed on. We're going to get to towards the end of the show, into the pregame show, that I'm going to talk about him. I think the Cubs match up really, really well against him. His numbers tell you he's 2-0 with a 3 ERA, but guess what? That's actually only 4th best on the St. Louis Cardinals right now. Hard to believe.
All right, we're just getting started on Subaru Cubs pregame live. When we come back, we'll take a look at the lineups and see who Matt Garza will be mowing down one by one. But before we go to break, a look at the National League batting leaders this season. Starlin Castro, 6th in the NL with a 365 average. Take a look at some of the names there. Matt Kemp, just filthy. We'll be right back.
What's at Stake is brought to you by Joe's Seafood Prime Steak and Stone Crab. For the city's finest selection of prime steaks and fresh seafood, there's no better place than Joe's.
So, your seat good? Get the mirrors all adjusted? You can see everything okay? Just stay off the freeways, all right? I don't want you going out on those yet. Just leave your phone in your purse. I don't want you texting.
Daddy, okay?
Okay. There you go. Be careful.
Thanks, Dad.
Call me, but not while you're driving. We knew this day was coming. That's why we bought a Subaru.
You can receive a text or email when you get a package from the UPS store. Another reason why small business loves logistics.
Stop in today to get 25% off your first print job with a 1-year new mailbox services agreement.
Ideas can't wait. Productivity can't wait. Business today can't wait on outdated technology from the phone company. It demands a new breed of speed. Comcast Business Class. Ethernet speeds from 1 megabit to 10 gigabits per second. Scales quickly to meet demand. A secure, diverse network that's ready for tomorrow. Don't wait. Switch to Comcast Business Class because business can't wait.
The Mazda 3, a top safety pick with uncompromised performance. And now, it's even more fuel efficient with available SkyActiv technology. We build Mazdas. What do you drive? Now, get the Mazda 3 with 0.9% APR for a limited term.
This Cubs injury report is brought to you by ATI Physical Therapy, taking physical therapy to a higher level. Ask your doctor about ATI Physical Therapy. Get there.
Welcome back to Cubs Pregame Live. Luke Stuckmeyer at Wrigley Field. It's another pitcher's night at the ballpark. A few minutes ago, manager Dale Swaim spoke to the media.
Well, Bowden is, a guy that throws, pretty straight fastball, but it's got life. It's got, finish to it to where he gets, swings and misses at his fastball pop-ups. He's a, fly ball pitcher, but he's, now he's throwing a split that I think is going to help him out a lot. He's got a lot of depth on this new split he's throwing, and he got a nice slider as well. So he's a guy that we'll pencil him in, in the middle of our bullpen. He's a multiple inning guy. Very durable arm that can throw a lot, and very resilient out in the bullpen. So it's a nice asset for us.
It seems teams make more mistakes, not because they're not doing their job, but just hard to quantify or qualify the relievers in the game and when they're good and when they're not.
Well, I mean, that's like I said in spring training. Sometimes you just, you got to find out who can pitch in what innings with the leads and all that. It's not the easiest thing to do. On a mind situation for some guys, they're just a lot better in different situations. Just like some hitters are better in certain situations. But it takes time sometimes to figure all that out.
Did you see something in watching the video of him that you liked? Because he didn't pitch much for the Red Sox.
Well, not this year he didn't. Last year he did. Year before he did. A little bit. I saw one part of the video I liked when he threw 3 fastballs right by Batista. I always like that. So, but like I said, he's unorthodox. He's got a completely different motion and release point than most pitchers do, so he gets away with a little bit more. He can get it to 94 miles an hour, but like I said, it's finish. He can get swings and misses up in the zone, and I think the split finger is going to help him a lot.
Would you call your bullpen evolving at this point? Is there one way to look at it from the outside?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. You start figuring guys out what's who you can use here, what, obviously with Carey not there, we haven't had a lot of opportunities with him out to winning ball games too, so that doesn't help that at all either. But, The bullpen's actually done okay. Yesterday, you know, we had a couple hiccups, you know, just fielding bunts, you know, but, you know, what led to that obviously was a leadoff walk to, you know, to the 8th hitter. So, you know, those are things that, you know, you don't have control over sometimes, you know, but the bottom line is we just, you know, failed to field a couple bunts and get a couple outs that they were giving us.
So on a chilly night at Wrigley, Matt Garza will try to slow down the red-hot Cardinals. At Wrigley Field, I'm Luke Stuckmeyer. Let's send it back to Cap and Holly for Pregame Live.
All right, thank you, Luke. David DeJesus enjoying the friendly confines. He has reached base safely in each of his first 10 games played at Wrigley Field this season. David DeJesus, not the fastest guy, doesn't give you a lot of power, but he's finding ways to get on base.
He's not sexy, but the numbers don't lie. He's got a 400 on-base percentage on the season. He's hitting 265. He scored 12 runs. I mean, you project that out over the course of a year, you're going to be pretty satisfied with David DeJesus, and he's done a very nice job. But again, he's a part, and I think what we fall victim to when we talk about the Cubs is realizing that there are good parts on this team. But when we put it together with a 4-12 team right now, that it kind of upsets us, I guess, a little bit. We're looking for some more home runs. We're looking for ways to score runs. But the reality is, David DeJesus has done just a fantastic job with the Cubs at the top of the lineup. Certainly allows Starlin Castro to sit in that 3-hole where we want him.
Right, look at the lineup. David DeJesus right there. Darwin Barney, Starlin Castro, the 6, as we said earlier in the show, in the league and hitting .365. Soriano down to 212. Baker off to a rough start. Soto down to an abysmal 136. Reed Johnson scuffling. So no Brian LaHare in the lineup tonight because of lefties on the hill.
Wake up! Let's go, bottom half of the lineup. That's what it is. I mean, clearly, what we've seen the Cubs this year, the top half's been getting it done. It's certainly centered around Starlin Castro, but the bottom half has got to pick it up. We're not asking for the world here. We're not asking for home runs and tons of RBIs, just better at bats, because clearly right now what we've seen in a lot of this series coming out with the Reds is missed opportunities. Still not doing very well with runners in scoring position. Still struggling to extend at bats and some of the problems that we've seen over time. I know it takes time to heal and to get better, but I want to see some better at-bats and some better production. We're 16 games into the season. I know it's cold out there, but you're watching some of the better teams in baseball, and you're going to get a good look tonight of the Cardinals of young guys coming up, taking a hold of opportunity and being productive. I think the same should be expected from the bottom half of the Cubs lineup.
The Cardinal lineup for tonight for manager Mike Matheny, Rafael Furcal, .369 off to a great start. Skip Schumacher hasn't gotten a lot of opportunity yet due to injury. Carlos Beltran, so far, a good signing early. David Freese, the World Series hero. And I just love Yadier Molina, the catcher. What a stud.
Oh, he's the captain. I mean, he's the captain of the team offensively, defensively. But, I mean, the Cardinals, they're 11-5, and Matt Holliday's hitting under 200. I mean, is that how good they are? That's how I like to look at these things. Yes, it makes sense. Yadier Molina's off to a great start. Carlos Beltran's got 5 home runs. Rafael Furcal's hitting over 350 in the top of the lineup. But when the guy who this lineup centers around, the man who you circled to replace Albert Pujols in the 3-hole in Matt Holliday's hitting a .197, and you're still 11-5, and you have not lost a series, you got yourself a pretty good team.
Matt Carpenter has absolutely murdered the Cubs in that one series this season. A double, 2 triples, a homer, 7 RBIs, and a .583 batting average in 12 at-bats against Chicago this season.
What do you remember about that series? In watching him, what did you see? Up the middle, the other way.
Yeah, he had tremendous power going to the left side.
He had a long home run to center field, and that's what's been impressive. Matt Carpenter, I mean, listen, the Cardinals, they know what they're doing. I hate to sit here and give him too much credit, but where credit is due, give it to him. I mean, Matt Carpenter has been fantastic. He's filled in for Lance Berkman. He's done everything that's been asked of him, and he's capitalizing on his opportunity. That's what you want to see going on here in Chicago with the Cubbies. They need to get it done, and Matt Carpenter's been pretty good so far.
Let's check out the ATI Physical Therapy Injury Report. Let's look at the Cubs disabled list. And there are 2 key names. 15-day DL with right shoulder fatigue for Kerry Wood. Ryan Dempster, who did not make his scheduled start yesterday. Randy Wells got his spot. 15-day DL with a strained right quad. All right, time to take a look back into the archives. On this day in Chicago Cubs history, Northsiders were in Colorado facing the Rockies. The Cubs won their 10,000th regular season game in franchise history. Aramis Ramirez, the former Cub, took current Cub Manny Corpus deep for a 9th-inning 2-run bomb. Cubs won 7-6 in 10. Wood the win. Marmol the save. Corpus, of course, still in the Cubs system. Remember playing in Colorado What was it like? Because I know they finally brought the humidor in, the whole deal. Did that affect your ability to hit there? You played there, what, 2 or 3 years?
It made it certainly a little bit more realistic. Yeah, I mean, I got to play with the cue balls before the humidor, and I actually was there with the transitioning into the humidor, and it just, the advantages that you had was, number one, that the ball flew ridiculously because the ball would get harder, and it was like hitting a cue ball. I mean, it just flew off your bat. I suppose more like a driver in a golf ball would probably be a better example. You could get away with, the best way I would describe it is this. I played with Mike Piazza early on in my career. He was a man who got away with a lot on his bat, meaning he didn't have to square a ball up on the barrel. I couldn't get away with that. I had to put the ball on the barrel to get it over the wall. Plain and simple. I got those breaks in Colorado. Now that changed with the humidor. It became a great place to hit because you had a huge outfield, and if you had some speed, you could get out of the box, you get the doubles and triples, and the home runs were there. But it did change the game a little bit.
One more break to get to on Subaru Pregame Live. When we return, it's Todd Hollandsworth awarding us his winning keys to victory. We'll be right back.
Cubs Pregame Live is presented by Subaru. Discover what it's like to have a car you can love.
So, your seat good? Get the mirrors all adjusted so you can see everything okay? Just stay off the freeways, all right? I don't want you going out on those yet. Just leave your phone in your purse. I don't want you texting.
Daddy, okay?
Okay. There you go. Be careful.
Thanks, Dad.
Call me, but not while you're driving. We knew this day was coming. That's why we bought a Subaru.
Want total access to Major League Baseball? Then you need Xfinity and MLB Network. You'll get over 125 live regular season games with live look-ins from around the league, plus 24/7 inside access, so you're there for all of baseball's biggest stories. With Xfinity from Comcast, the best seat in the house is in your house. Sign up for the HD Premier XF Triple Play, or ask about other bundles starting as low as $99 a month for a year. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Call today.
Oh, geez, guys. Dave's choking again.
Hey, Verlander, a little help over here?
Thanks, Justin. Don't worry, Dave. You're not the first guy I've seen choke.
Real big fathead. Get yours at fathead.com.
I just want to be the best. The best in my position, the best on the court, the best in the league. I'm on my way, and no one's going to stop me. From making it in the show.
Watch the show that works as hard for Chicago as D-Rose himself. Sportsnet Central, every night at 6:30, 10, 10:30, and midnight. Only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. It's time to experience greatness, to throw history out the window and write the future. Legends will be made, and one team's destiny will be fulfilled. Time will tell how this story ends, but it begins on Comcast Sportsnet.
Welcome back to Subaru Cubs Pregame Live. Time now for Todd Hollandsworth's award-winning keys to the Cubs victory.
All right, here we go. Number one, watch the scoreboard. 2-0 with a 3 RA. It's going to tell me, you know, you're off to a pretty good start. Jaime Garcia, he's the owner of those statistics. But I found some very interesting trends digging up his numbers. Number one, batting average against. Hitters are hitting .340 against him this year. And he's only struck out 10 hitters in 18 innings. I mean, he's been very hittable, and he's been pitching to an awful lot of contact.
Here's a 1-2.
And he certainly hasn't been putting hitters away consistently. So what that tells me is, and what I've learned is that in fastball counts, basically the hitters counts, he's been throwing fastballs. You get behind him, 1-2, 2-2. He gets you to 2 strikes, he's going to go soft. That's where the trends are. If you stay ahead of him, you stay in hitter's count, you're going to see fastballs. Understand the situations. Understand how he's going to try and get you out. He's going to try and get you out with that sinker, that changeup, and that cutter. That's what he wants, and he's looking to be down in the strike zone. Know that going in. Understand your circumstances. Watch the scoreboard. Stay ahead of him. You're going to get more fastballs. You fall behind, he's going to go soft on you. Number 2, stay inside. No, I am not talking about the temperature outside. It is freezing. Matt Garza, you got to pitch inside, big boy. This Cardinals team, they're talented, they're good, and for you to be effective tonight, you have got to command both corners to the lefties and to the righties. In my opinion, the Cardinals, they might be the best lineup in the National League when it comes to taking what pitchers are ultimately going to give them. They're a very disciplined group, so he's going to have to, again, command both sides of the plate and make his pitches, get his curveball working, his slider working, and clearly his fastball. But again, do not be afraid to throw inside. You can't go in for show. You have to go in for purpose. And finally, bottoms up. Top of the Cubs lineup, been consistent. It's been pretty dependable. Impressive so far. I'm okay with it. But the bottom half's just flat out flatlined. What I've seen in the numbers that we saw when we put up the lineup tonight telling me they're just not getting it done. And they're top heavy right now. There's no balance. And they're going to have to start getting some production from the Giovanni Sotos of the world. You see them right there. These guys are going to have to pick it up if the Cubs are going to turn this thing around and just get back to respectability, because right now teams are getting fat on the Cubs, and that's just unacceptable. So bottom of the lineup, good at bats tonight. Understand who your competition is. Jaime Garcia, how he's going to get you out. Be thinking up the middle, the other way. Good game plan. Get some knocks together and put some pressure on him from the bottom.
All right, time for our key performers today. I've won 2 in a row. I get to pick first, and I'm going to stay with the guy who got me my last victory. Starlin Castro seems to be in a great groove.
Chalk. I'm going to go.
Whatever it takes.
Jeff Baker, I expect him to break out. He's sitting down a little bit in the lineup tonight, and I'm looking for a big game from him. He knows Jaime Garcia. He owns lefties. Big game, Jeff Baker.
All right, we'll see what happens. Cubs and their arch rivals from St. Louis, the Cardinals, the defending world champs in town, to open up a series. Thank you for watching Subaru Cubs Pregame Live. For our great CSN crew, for Todd Hollinsworth, for Luke Stuckmeyer, I'm David Kaplan. Cubs and Cards coming up.
We have more than 3,000 daily flights on Southwest Airlines, and that gives you thousands of options to fly. Where you want, when you want. Starting June 3rd, you can fly our new nonstop service from Midway to Oklahoma City for just $160 one way. Book all of our destinations only at Southwest.com.
Designers can't wait. Engineers can't wait. Business today can't wait on old technology from the phone company. It demands a new breed of speed. Comcast Business Class. PC Mag has named us the fastest business internet provider in the nation. Add bandwidth as you need it. Get dedicated business customer service 24/7. Don't wait. Switch to Comcast Business Class, because business can't wait.
Tell us about the Accord.
Car and driver's 10 best.
How many times?
A record 26 times.
Interesting.
What about safety?
Overall 5-star safety rating.
Interesting.
It's perfect.
不要太过分。
我知道，可是我太喜欢。
不要让他知道。
可是好漂亮。
让我解决，看我办事。So Brian, what kind of deal are we looking at here?
We have some really good offers going on right now.
Really?
Really.
Okay, we'll take it.
好极了，现在我开始准备文件。
Well-qualified buyers can get an Accord for 0.9% financing and no first month's payment during the Really Big Sales Event. Real deals, big inventory at your Honda dealer.
Bravo, Charlie, initiate launch sequence. Wide mouth is in position for resealable cap. Cap in place and locked. Commence final cooling. T-minus 34 degrees. Mountains are blue. Silver bullet aluminum pint. You are clear for launch. Houston, we have refreshment. The silver bullet aluminum pint from Coors Light. The world's most refreshing beer.
An accident doesn't have to slow you down. With better car replacement, available only with Liberty Mutual Auto Insurance. If your car is totaled, we give you the money for a car 1 model year newer. Visit a local Chicago office for details. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy?
We proudly present Chicago Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, part of the NBC Sports Group.
It's always a big one when the Cards are in town. Matt Garza looks to keep his Wrigley magic alive. Next. We greet you from Wrigley Field on a clear and chilly night. A great night for Fleece Glove Giveaway night here at Wrigley Field. Tonight, the Cubs welcome in their top rival, the defending World Series champion St. Louis Cardinals, here on Comcast Sportsnet. And hi again, everyone. Alongside Bob Brenly, I'm Len Casper. It's been tough for the Cubs. They've lost all 5 series to start the year. The Cardinals have not lost a series. And Bob, even without Albert Pujols, this Cardinal offense just keeps rolling along.
Boy, do they ever, Len. I mean, they're among the league leaders in just about every important offensive category. We're going to show you this graphic here. Carlos Beltran has been a huge addition for the Cardinals. Yadier Molina has become more of an offensive player, and David Freese picked up right where he left off in last year's postseason.
Now, having said that, they are without a couple of key guys. Lance Berkman is on the disabled list. Center fielder John Jay day-to-day with a shoulder injury, and look at their starts.
Well, you know the Cardinals are anxiously awaiting the return of these 2 guys to the lineup. This is going to be a very good team all season long.
And we have a very good pitching matchup for you tonight. A left-hander for St. Louis, Jaime Garcia, and Matt Garza, who's been very good at Wrigley Field.
Well, Matt Garza likes pitching in the cold weather here at Wrigley, taking advantage of that wind that once again is blowing straight in from center field. And Jaime Garcia, a real crafty left-hander, has a real good straight changeup. Those are usually the kind of pitchers that give the Cubs offense some problems.
So the lefty Garcia for the Cardinals, the right-hander Garza for the Cubs. We'll have Cubs baseball. Cardinals in town for 3 starting tonight.
This lets us know every time someone takes home a new Nissan.
Every minute, someone buys a new Nissan. It's no wonder when you're named the country's most innovative car company. And they'll be going really fast during Nissan's Sale a Minute event. Get 0% financing on popular models or a $179 lease on Altima. Event ends soon. Visit ChooseNissan.com. Hurry in to your local Nissan dealer.
Not a minute too soon.
It's time to experience greatness, to throw history out the window and write the future. Legends will be made, and one team's destiny will be fulfilled. Time will tell how this story ends, but it begins on Comcast Sportsnet.
Our best Stacey King impression.
Too big. What do you say? What do you be saying?
Ronnie, brouhaha.
Give me the hot sauce. Give me the hot sauce. Give me the hot sauce, Pop.
That's a poster. That's a poster right there.
Oh my God, Todd Gibson.
Oh, she can destroy.
Too big.
Too big.
Too strong.
Too strong.
Too fast.
Too fast.
Too good.
Too good.
You gather here, Neil and Stacey, only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, 75 years being right here in Illinois means no one's closer to your wellness. Experience wellness everywhere. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy? Toyota. Right now, you can get a lot for less at your local Toyota dealer. Official partner of the Chicago Cubs. The new wireless receiver from AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. BMO Harris Bank. Helping money make sense. BMO Harris Bank. NA member FDIC. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Welcome back to Wrigley Field. It's cool but clear up skies above. That's good news. And the wind not blowing nearly as hard as it did over the weekend as the Cardinals and Cubs kick off a 3-game series. Matt Garza and his battery mate Giovanni Soto heading into the Cubs dugout. Cubs dropped 2 of 3 over the weekend to the Cincinnati Reds, and the Cardinals off to a great start. They have won 2 of 3 in every series. Plus, remember, they won that 1-game set at Miami to open up Marlins Park. So Mike Matheny off to a good start as the new Cardinals manager. And we talked about the Cardinal injuries, and how about a couple of them back-to-back days. John Jay not in the lineup tonight because he banged into the wall on Thursday in St. Louis.
I fought the wall and the wall won. John Jay going straight back into center field. That's usually when you get injured, is when you don't realize how close you are to the wall. John Jay thought he had a few more steps, and Friday it was Skip Schumacher.
Right off the disabled list. This was the second pitch of the bottom of the first in Pittsburgh. He had a right oblique injury that had him on the DL, and this kind of knocked the wind out of him. Schumacher is in the lineup tonight for Mike Matheny, and they're without Lance Berkman, who did briefly come back, but the strained left calf eventually put him on the disabled list. But it doesn't seem to matter who they put in the lineup, they just keep winning. Let's get Mike Matheny's Cardinal lineup. Their Southwest starting lineup. Rafael Furcal off to an excellent start. We mentioned Schumacher in center. Matt Holliday trying to get it going. Carlos Beltran, 5 home runs already. You have David Freese, their World Series hero, at third. Yadier Molina, the catcher. Carpenter, big series against the Cubs in St. Louis. Tyler Green plays second, and Garcia is the pitcher.
And here's how the Cubs will line it up defensively tonight. Alfonso Soriano in left. Reed Johnson in center field tonight. David DeJesus, who's rapidly learning the tricks of right field here at Wrigley. He'll be out in right. Joe Mather at third base tonight. Starlin Castro and Darwin Barney once again up the middle of the field. Jeff Baker getting the nod over at first base against a left-handed pitcher. Giovanni Soto behind the dish tonight. And our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher Matt Garza for the Cubs.
They head out to the field.
Well, then we documented the Cardinals offense and the numbers that they've put up in the early going this season. Their pitching staff ranks 4th in the National League in ERA. We didn't even mention their defense. They've only made 8 errors so far this season, setting the pace in the National League.
Garza with a sub-2 ERA at Wrigley Field over his last 13 outings. As you get a look at his numbers, he is coming off a loss at Miami his last time out. It was 5 days ago, and his career best 5-game winning streak come to an end. And he's facing the Cardinals for the first time since a 3-0 win here at Wrigley Field on August 20th of last year. Let's get the umpires for you. The crew chief, Tim Cheetah, 26-year veteran, is behind the plate. He's worked 3 World Series, a Minnesota native. You see on the bases Conroy, Nelson, and Bill Welke.
Almost feels like a heat wave here tonight, Len. As you mentioned, that wind not blowing hardly at all right now. Rather brisk during batting practice. Players were all bundled up. Fleece hoodies during batting practice, but the wind has nearly stopped completely. So as we all know, this ballpark is going to play a lot different tonight than it did over the weekend.
One final from earlier today, doubleheader in New York. The Giants beat the Mets 6-1. Tim Lincecum got his first win of the season. And he only went 5 innings, but he beat Miguel Batista, Buster Posey, Nate Sherholtz. homered for the Giants.
Lincecum really had to labor in that ball game. Threw 108 pitches in 5 innings of work.
So Dale Swaim hoping Matt Garza can get the Cubs off to a good start in this series. The Cubs have won 1 game in every series but one when they were swept in Miami last week. So the switch hitting Rafael Furcal ready. Garza's first pitch is a fastball for a strike.
At some point in this series, at some point probably in the ball game tonight, you'll see Rafael Furcal try that slug bunt. Half square around and half swing at the ball, try to draw the third baseman in and then hit it softly to the left side of the infield, get it past the third baseman in front of the shortstop and try to beat it out for an infield hit.
So milestones for Furcal. Yesterday was his 1,500th career game, and he's also sitting on 999 career runs. Mather in on the grass at third, and the 2-1 pitch is a strike. 2-2. Cubs did a good job against Furcal in St. Louis. Recently, he went just 1 for 14. And a full count 3-2 with Schumacher on deck.
A series of fastballs. Matt Garza tries to come down and in with the slider and get the swinging strike from Furcal, but he recognized the pitch and was able to check his swing in time.
That slider is punched foul.
When we talk about a defensive 2-strike swing, this is exactly what we're talking about. That ball was nearly past Rafael Furcal. Just kind of flipped the bat out there with a lot of hands, fouled it off to the third base side to stay alive.
And another foul. This one will get into the upper deck. They have been meeting since 1892. The Cubs lead the all-time series, having won 1,167 times. Cardinals with 1,106 wins. Pulled to right. De Jesus will make the catch. A couple steps in front of the warning track. And here is Skip Schumacher. Came off the DL a few days earlier than originally planned because of the Cardinals' injury situation. Got hurt in his first game. He did pinch hit yesterday and singled and scored a run. He's 5 for 8 against Matt Garza. Probably won't see John Jay at all tonight. If at all, it would be as a pinch runner. Here's so much about what David Freese did in the postseason. He was the NLCS and World Series MVP. Albert Pujols had a 3-homer game in the World Series. Well, Skip Schumacher hit 600 in the division series, and Bobby played outfield in 6 of the 7 World Series games and made 3 starts after only making 5 in the outfield all year. So it was a team effort. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
And that's the kind of thing that we expected to see from a Tony La Russa managed ball club. He loves those versatile players, guys that he can plug in all over the field, especially late in the game when he started making pitching changes and double switches. He needed to have a number of players that could play different positions. Still not quite sure about Mike Matheny. Doesn't appear to use his bullpen in quite the exaggerated fashion that Tony did, but still very early in the season. I think any manager likes to have guys, like a Skip Schumacher, like a Joe Mather, guys that, if necessary, you can plug them in at third base, bring them in as a pinch runner, pinch hitter, play them in center field. The jack of all trades. Every team needs a couple.
So back-to-back 3-2 counts to start the game. And a ground ball is just foul as it bounced over first, but in foul territory. Matt Garza's 28 years old, 6'4", 215 pounds. Cubs got him from Tampa Bay in January of 2011. And another 3-2 pitch. Fastball bounce to Castro. So 2 away. Good to see Starlin in the lineup tonight after getting hit near the left elbow by a pitch yesterday. Thought he broke his arm at first, but then everything settled down, and well, you'd hate to be without your everyday shortstop and your best hitter for any stretch here early.
He said by the time he ran around the bases and got back to his position defensively, he almost had forgotten he'd been hit.
Now Matt Holliday, who comes in at just 197. But he does have 3 game-winning RBIs. So even the guys who are struggling are still contributing.
I was just thinking, as we've seen a couple of deep counts to start this ball game against Matt Garza, they don't walk a lot as a ball club, but they do work a lot of deep counts. Garza's had a pitch count high of 119 so far this season. That came a couple of starts ago against the Brewers. I'm sure a lot of fans saw him with 8 2/3 innings in the book. All he needed to do was toss the ball to Brian Laher at first. Instead, he fired it up on the concourse.
And a line drive base hit for Holliday. Keep the inning alive for Carlos Beltran.
Holliday, you mentioned, Len, struggling a little bit, coming up with some big knocks. He gets to a 95-mile-an-hour heater off the plate inside right there. Because of that big leg kick that you saw, sometimes it takes Matt Holliday a little bit longer to get in sync early in the season, and throughout the season there will be times where he's a little tardy getting that front foot down, maybe a little early getting the foot down. Because of his mechanics, it lends itself to some mid-season slumps.
Excellent start to his Cardinal career for Carlos Beltran. Only Matt Kemp has more home runs in the National League than Beltran's 5. Kemp has hit 9.
All 5 from the left side of the plate for the switch hitting Beltran.
And he loves him some Wrigley Field. One ball, one strike. Short lead by Holliday. And the pitch is just off the inside corner.
Good spot to miss. Matt Garza trying to nip that inside corner with a fastball. And if you're going to miss in your favor. Get in there a little bit further, so if Beltran does swing at that pitch, the likelihood of him jamming himself and putting it in play weakly are pretty good.
And we mentioned Matt Kemp. We get his daily stats pack from the Cubs. And it's probably about 20 pages thick. In the back of the packet you have the National League and American League department leaders batting and pitching. And I look at the offensive numbers here. Matt Kemp leading. I'm just going to go across the categories left to right. Batting average, home runs, RBIs, multi-hit games, runs, hits, total bases. I don't think I've ever seen that. Foul tip, strike 3. One guy leading all the major categories. Matt Kemp. Cubs coming up after the Cardinals fail to score.
American innovation. Dodge is bringing more of it to more people with 3 different vehicles offering 3 rows of seating, like Dodge Durango and Dodge Journey, as well as Dodge Grand Caravan, with room for up to 7 people and just about anything else. Hurry in to the Dodge Get Into Innovation event.
Now get 0% financing or up to $24.95 in total values on the 7-passenger 2012 Dodge Journey.
Bravo, Charlie, initiate launch sequence. Wide mouth is in position for resealable cap. Cap in place and locked. Commence final cooling. T-minus 34 degrees. Mountains are blue. Silver bullet aluminum pint. You are clear for launch. Houston, we have refreshment. The silver bullet aluminum pint from Coors Light. The world's most refreshing beer.
Find thousands of items on sale in the Menards Spring Catalog. Take your cookouts on the road with Coleman. The Road Trip Dual Burner Gas Grill is perfect for tailgating, camping, or the backyard. It quickly folds up for easy transportation and storage. Just $147. Complete your landscaping and create curb appeal with Mastermark edging. This 20-foot roll of zip edge is easy to install and requires no trenching. Just $7.99.
Save big money at Menards.
Now let's get the Cubs Southwest starting lineup written out by manager Dale Swain. Against the lefty Jaime Garcia. David DeJesus is in right. Darwin Barney back in there at second base. Castro at short. Soriano still looking for his first extra base hit. Baker gets a lot of starts against lefties. Soto catching. You have Reed Johnson in center. Joe Mather in for Ian Stewart. And Matt Garza, the pitcher.
Quick look at the Cardinals defensively. It'll be Holiday, Schumacher, and Beltran across the outfield, left to right. Freese for call, Green and Carpenter third to first across the infield. Yadier Molina behind the plate as usual. And he'll be receiving pitches from left-hander Jaime Garcia.
Coming off back-to-back 13-win seasons. 6'2", 215 pounds. Only 25 years old. Has always put up good numbers against the Cubs, at least early on in his career, and off to a good start this year.
Likes his cutter, likes that straight changeup.
Likes his red glove.
Yeah.
0-1 to DeJesus. Looked like the cutter, and for call will make the catch.
As you saw from his season stats there, he's given up his share of base hits this year. He's walked a few guys, but in his last start against the Reds, he had that ground ball double play working. Induced the Reds to hit into 4 twin killings in his last start.
Darwin Barney takes a strike. I like Tim Cheetah's strike call. Foul back of the plate. Garcia was born in Reynosa, Mexico. Went to Sherryland High School in Mission, Texas.
I like Tim Cheetah's strike call a lot better in the top half of the inning.
Yeah, that's true.
Not quite as much in the bottom half.
Diving stop, David Freese. Safe at first. Probably the only time, Bob, sliding at first is a good idea, as he kind of got under the tag of Carpenter.
He actually didn't slide until after he hit the bag. Darwin Barney, a nice play by David Freese just to get to that ball, but his throw across the diamond is high to Matt Carpenter, and in his haste to get to that bag, Darwin Barney busting it down the line, reaching out hard for that bag at first, lost his balance and sliding up the right field line.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I mean, even though Darwin running as hard as he could down that first baseline, you saw him nearly halfway down the line looking to his left to see what David Freese was doing.
Ball gets through the legs of Molina. Barney can jog on down to second.
I mean, it's a minimal thing, but it definitely is going to take a little bit of add a little bit of time to that sprint down the first baseline if you're looking to your left halfway down the line. Dave McKay and the rest of the Cubs coaching staff all the way back to the first day of spring training have tried to impress upon these guys. Just run straight through. Focus on where your target is and run straight through.
Curveball strike. Castro with a 10-game hitting streak has reached base safely in 55 of his last 56 games.
And watching Starlin as he went through his pregame workout today, both offensively and defensively, no signs whatsoever of any lasting effect other than that elbow guard you see on his left elbow. Boy, he was very fortunate. That pitch could have done a lot more damage where it was headed. And this is what we're talking about, the hit by pitch in the ball game yesterday. Johnny Cueto runs a fastball up and in. Looked like it was headed for that left elbow, but he pulled his arm in quickly enough that he took the brunt of it off of the muscle in his left forearm.
Barney takes off and Castro hits a ground ball to short, and the throw to first not in time by Furcal. Pat Listash also was helping Barney, who I was wondering if he was going to just keep on running around third. As it is, they're at the corners on a couple of infield hits.
I think on that particular play, the fact that Darwin Barney was running and Starlin Castro cues that ball right off the end of the bat kind of fooled Rafael Furcal. He laid back an extra step. He checks the runner at third, and Castro busting it down that first baseline just beats the throw.
First and third, one out, and it's Alfonso Soriano.
And then we know for a fact that the Cubs have tried to be more aggressive on the bases this year, take advantage of the opposing defense if they're not paying any attention. But tonight is one night you've got to be extra careful with Yadier Molina behind the plate. Not only in attempting to steal bases, but in the kind of secondary lead you take off a base. Molina loves to throw behind the runners. Loves to pick at all the bases, and so far this year only 6 stolen base attempts against him, and he's caught half of them.
And a fly ball to left. Holiday coming over. He will make the catch, and his throw will go towards second as Barney scores on a sacrifice fly, and it's 1-0.
Good extension on his swing that time by Alfonso Soriano. You see the 2 base runners. Darwin Barney at third immediately goes back to tag, while Starlin Castro over at first goes halfway to see if that ball was going to get down or whether Matt Holliday was indeed going to make the catch. It looked like Soriano was able to extend his swing a little bit that time. Might have been fooled somewhat by the delivery from Garcia, but still got it in the air to left field for an RBI.
See Dave McKay at the bottom of your screen. He knows Yadier Molina as well as anybody, certainly in the Cubs dugout. Prior to this year, McKay had seen every game Molina had ever played. Jeff Baker. Ball 1.
You know, in talking about the Molina pickoffs at the bases, especially at first base, he played so many games with Albert Pujols down there at first base. They didn't even really need a sign. It was, you know, almost a mental telepathy. Just a little nod of the head, a shrug of the shoulder, and a return.
And they've got Castro here. That'll go 1-3 to 4 on the caught stealing. But the Cubs get the lead on the sacrifice fly by Soriano. It's 1-0 after 1.
It's time to take it up a notch. It's time to keep going when others can't. It's time to push the limits and pull more than your share. It's time to get things done instead of getting things fixed. It's time to trade up to the best Sierra ever. Through April 30th, get 0% financing for 72 months on a 2012 Sierra. Or get $4,000 total value on a Sierra with extended cab SLE value package. Plus, trade in your eligible vehicle to get a total value of $6,000.
Well, well, well. Growing up, we didn't have U-verse. We couldn't record 4 shows at the same time. In my day, you're lucky if you could record 2 shows. And a mom was recording her dumb show and dad was recording his dumb show then. By George, that's all we watched. And we liked it. Today's kids got it so good.
Get U-verse TV for $29 a month for 6 months. AT&T.
We are always learning. We challenge the status quo. We think about tomorrow. We keep the next generation safe. We believe leadership is a team sport. Our IC buses carry more of this country's most precious cargo than any other manufacturer. And we're committed to providing ever better transportation solutions that move the world forward. We're Navistar, and life rides on us.
Are you ready? Are you gonna get them all right?
Yes.
Okay.
B.
Good. And this?
N.
Yes. And this one is?
P.
Good. And what's this?
Cubs win.
That's right. Cubs win. That's my girl.
We're as obsessed as you are. Sportsnet Central, every night at 6:30, 10, 10:30 midnight on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Another roster move. That's one each day on this homestand. Michael Bowden, who was acquired for Marlon Byrd over the weekend, is now in the Cubs bullpen. Rodrigo Lopez designated for assignment. And if he clears through the waiver process, he will remain in the Cubs organization, you hope, at AAA. There's Michael Bowden, who is from the western suburbs of Chicago, lives in Oswego. Took him about an hour to get to the park today. He was sitting at home for several days after being cut from the Red Sox roster. And Bob, he admitted that he had actually seen the reports of a possible Marlon Byrd trade to the Red Sox, and he and his wife were thinking, wow, could you imagine? I could pitch for the team I grew up rooting for. And then it happened. So he is on cloud 9, and he is available tonight. And personally, I hope Rodrigo Lopez does remain in the Cubs organization. Probably would start at AAA. If he does, then we would probably see him back here at some point this season.
We saw last season what happens when you don't have starting pitching depth. And Rodrigo Lopez, a guy that can fill a number of roles with a ball club. I agree. I hope he does go back down to Iowa and continue to pitch down there just in case.
Strike to David Freese. It's 2-2. Only saw him for one game in that series in St. Louis because of finger irritation. Called strike 3.
Some good fastballs that time from Matt Garza on the inner part of the plate. You've got problems with your hand, your finger, your wrist. That's where you want to challenge a guy. Just could not pull the trigger.
Now Molina, the catcher. By the way, Marlon Byrd is in the Red Sox lineup tonight. The Red Sox are in Minnesota. Byrd is hitting 9th and playing center. And the Red Sox lead 1-0 in the second. John Lester versus Jason Marquis. One and one on Molina, who knocked in 6 runs against the Cubs in that 3-game series at Busch Stadium.
I think Molina's 2 different hitters. If he has runners in scoring position, he's a lot more willing and more likely to hit the ball to the opposite field. If he's at the plate in a situation like this, he more looks to pull the ball.
Deflected off the pitching hand of Garza, picked up by Castro, and he gets Molina at first. That'll go 1 to 6 to 3. Garza's all right.
A broken bat, soft liner back through the box. You see Garza to spin around against his own body. I'm not so sure he made contact with that or not. It was really close as he stuck out that bare hand. Yeah, he did. He deflected that just enough that Castro's able to come across, scoop and throw all in one motion in time to get the Cardinals catcher.
So easy to say don't do that, Matt, but just about every pitcher does. It's reflexive.
Yep. I mean, you know, until this year when the Cubs started to play some exaggerated shifts up the middle of the field, if that ball got by you on the mound, there was a pretty good chance it was going to go through into center field for a base hit. But as we've seen in spring training and the early going of the regular season, more often than not, you're going to have one of your middle infielders playing close enough to the middle of the field to get to those softly hit balls.
Matt Carpenter filling in for the injured Lance Berkman. And man, did he fill in against the Cubs in St. Louis. First career homer, 7 hits, 7 RBIs in that series. And even in the cold weather, he goes without the batting gloves.
Very Mark Grace-like first baseman that doesn't use batting gloves.
Three and one. I read an article about Carpenter the other day. I guess he has batting gloves because all the companies keep sending them, but he doesn't use them as he takes ball 4.
Well, we know one thing for sure, Len. If you had 18 ball players on the field that did not use batting gloves, the time of game would be cut in half.
Get real-time info, including pitcher gas gauge, stats, and tweets with Cubs in-game live only at csnchicago.com. Brought to you by Liberty Mutual. Tyler Green wears the batting gloves and takes strike 1. He's playing second tonight. Able to hold up.
Well, a lot of check swings early in the ball game for the Cardinals, which tells me that Matt Garza has some good late movement, especially on that slider low and away from the right-handed hitters.
Cardinals have outscored their opponent by 36 runs in their first 16 games. That's number 1 in the National League. The Rangers lead the majors in run differential at plus 52. Here's the throw as Carpenter takes off, and he is out. Nice play by Barney to take that bounced throw by Soto. And the inning comes to an end. Still 1-0 Cubs midway in the second.
We have more than 3,000 daily flights on Southwest Airlines, and that gives you thousands of options to fly. Where you want, when you want. Starting June 3rd, you can fly our new nonstop service from Midway to Oklahoma City for just $160 one way. Book all of our destinations only at southwest.com.
Look, they got new menu items.
Hi, Jay.
We'll have the strawberry banana smoothie, chicken strips, and the garden fresh salad.
Here you go.
You know, Jay, we do have a drive-thru. I know.
The new menu options. Come and get it at Burger King.
This is our 83rd year in the ready-mix concrete business.
To see something so magnificent as the Chicago skyline and know you're a small part of it, it's very humbling.
You go out and you see the city and watch these projects progress all the way down to talking to homeowners and their excitement about how their driveway looks.
Bank of America was really a big part of our success in helping us not just get to 83 years, but 84 and on and on and on.
Tomorrow, Cubs action heats up at Wrigley as the Northsiders do battle with the arch-rival Cards. Don't miss a division rivalry driven by Mazda. Cubs, Cardinals, tomorrow night at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Hey fans, don't miss your chance to experience the hottest new area in Chicago sports. The all-inclusive Budweiser patio is now open at Wrigley Field. For more information and to purchase tickets for the 2012 Cubs season, call 773-404-4200 or visit Cubs.com/premier.
All in all, a nice night. The wind has died down. It is chilly, but looks like everybody came prepared. It's always fun when the Cardinals and Cubs get together here at Wrigley. 1-0. On an Alfonso Soriano sacrifice fly in the first. Jeff Baker on the first pitch. Rounds out to Rafael for call. Awful weather in Pittsburgh, so the Rockies and Pirates were postponed tonight. They'll have a makeup doubleheader on Wednesday. Jamie Moyer was supposed to start tonight, and he will go tomorrow night. 50% chance of rain tomorrow night in Pittsburgh. And when we always go to Pittsburgh, it rains at some point. One and one to Soto. It's a strike. Garcia working quickly. Good changeup to make it 1-2. Topped back toward the mound, and Garcia will get him. And we want to wish a happy 5th birthday to Atticus Finch Gurrell. Huge Cub fan for 5 years. So are his parents, Jay and Melanie. Reed Johnson getting the start in center. It was Tony Campana yesterday. Dale Swaim will mix and match in center after the trade of Marlon Byrd. But what that usually means is you'll mix and match until somebody just grabs the spot. I mean, if Reed Johnson goes 4 for 4 tonight, he might be in the lineup again tomorrow. There's an opportunity.
Yeah, no question about it. You mix and match depending on past history against an opposing pitcher or an opposing team. But as you said, if somebody gets red hot and decides to take charge of that job for the time being, Dale's all for it.
So Molina wants this one down. It was up a little bit, and that backs up Freese. Long throw, right on the money. 3 ground outs here in the second. We'll head off to the third. The Cubs lead 1-0 early from Wrigley.
You can choose to take your chances, or you can choose the only luxury crossover in the world that can sense what's behind you, even when you can't, and can apply the brakes even before you do. Introducing the all-new Infinity JX with backup collision intervention system. Infinity, inspired performance.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
Every weeknight, only one show covers Chicago sports the right way. Chicago Tribune Live. Join host David Kaplan in a nightly roundtable with Chicago's biggest sports stars, celebrities, and journalists as they tackle every angle of the sports world.
It really is an exciting time to be a Chicago Cub. Oh, you're hitting me with these questions, Captain. It's been a while. This is my first time in the studio, and you're nailing me on the spot.
Chicago Tribune Live, presented by Captain Morgan. Every weeknight on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
At the beginning of the day, I knew exactly what would happen to me when I was a cop.
I knew that the bullet would miss.
I knew that I'd go home to my wife.
It was all in the script. But real policemen and firemen, they don't have a script.
The bullet doesn't always miss.
They don't always go home.
The 100 Club helps the families of first responders lost in the line of duty. Your support makes a difference.
Tomorrow, the Cubs and Cards are back in action here on Comcast Sportsnet. Tune in as Jeff Samardzija takes the mound against the Cubs division rivals. Coverage begins at 6:30 with Subaru Cubs pregame live. Cubs and Cardinals tomorrow night at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. That'll be a rematch. Samardzija beat Adam Wainwright in St. Louis. Well, you certainly hope the guy with the U shirt likes the guy in the B shirt, because they have to sit next to each other all night.
Yeah, we've talked about it before when the Pirates come to town too. If you don't sit in the proper order, you could be rooting for the Bucks. It's not good.
Tyler Green was at the plate when Matt Carpenter was thrown out at second. Swings and misses.
I always felt that was a little bit of an advantage for a hitter. It's almost like getting a free preview. You get to get in that batter's box and see some pitches from the opposing pitcher, and even though you hate to see the inning come to an end with your teammate getting thrown out, it has to help you when you go back up there to continue your at bat in the next inning.
Foul tip, strike 2. Garza looking for his 54th career win. He strikes out Tyler Green.
Good heater tonight from Matt Garza. Just easy gas in the mid-90s. He just blew that one right past Tyler Green. Inside part of the plate, middle of the thighs. That's normally a very hittable pitch, but Green cannot catch up.
Well, the pitcher Garcia has already knocked in a couple of runs this season. Two for 6 with a triple. Fly ball shallow left. And it's the shortstop Castro. 2 quick outs. The new Chicago Cubs baseball summer camps offer children ages 5 to 13 of all abilities the ultimate major league experience for 8 one-week sessions in 6 convenient locations around the Chicago area. Join fellow teammates for a week of top-notch baseball instruction, exclusive access, and unforgettable moments. Visit Cubs.com/camps to sign up your future Cub today. For call fly to right to start the game. Bob, you like the on this date segment that we like to drop in most days. Well, it was 98 years ago today Wrigley Field opened for business. It was called Weedman Park on April 23rd, 1914, and the Chicago Federals beat Kansas City 9-1. Art Wilson, the catcher for the Federals, with a 2-run homer off Chief Johnson.
Yeah, Art could rake.
I think it was a hanging slider. Nice play, Matt Garza. And a good toss to Jeff Baker to boot. We go to the bottom of the third. 1-0 Cubs.
This is nice. Talk to me about the Civic.
It's a 2012 IIHS top safety pick.
What else?
It's the best-selling small car in America.
Those are big wins. Have you ever won anything?
4th grade spelling bee.
Impressive.
IMPRESSIVE.
I see what you did there. Now tell me about the deal.
Right now we've got great leases and financing.
I'll take it. Wrap this puppy up.
WR.
That's enough of that.
Okay.
Well-qualified buyers can get a Civic for 0.9% financing and no first month's payment during the Really Big Sales Event. Real deals, big inventory at your Honda dealer.
I took a look at the bill from the phone company. Our voice and internet bill?
I was shocked.
It was absurd. My business was wasting money. We waited.
And we was throwing money away.
And for what? Outdated voice and internet?
I took one look, just one.
And I couldn't wait to do this.
We switched.
Yeah, we did.
To Comcast Business Class.
Don't wait to look at yours.
Fast internet, better phone. Switch to Comcast Business Class. Call 800-391-3000.
Look at that Angus steak. I'm going in.
Show's over.
Asian steakhouse quality is now at Panda. New Shanghai Angus steak with Angus top sirloin, only at Panda Express.
This Friday, the most wanted person in New York City is her.
You want to tell me why those men are after you?
I can memorize anything.
It's a code. Whatever she's got, I want it.
I don't spend my time talking. Spend it praying.
Safe. Rated R. Starts Friday.
Tomorrow, Cubs action heats up at Wrigley as the Northsiders do battle with the arch-rival Cards. Don't miss a division rivalry driven by Mazda. Cubs Cardinals tomorrow night at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Hey fans, visit the Captain Morgan Club at Wrigley Field with more than 40 flat screens, great food, and Wrigley's largest outdoor patio. Come celebrate a Cubs win and join us for the Captain Morgan Club post-game party featuring great music and Wrigley's friendliest staff. For more information, including specials and private party options, call 773-404-4750.
Former Cardinal Joe Mather, 3rd-round pick of St. Louis in 2001. And in the lineup for the Cubs, playing 3rd tonight. 1 ball, no strikes. Fourth start, 2nd at the 3rd base for Joe. Sharply hit ground ball through the hole and into left.
A lot of Joe Mather's base hits in spring training came to the left side of the field. He loves to pull the ball, has tremendous plate coverage. Top spin grounder just shoots through that left side into left field or a leadoff single.
All right, let's see now. Garza with that nice defensive play to end the top of the inning. Let's see if he can get a bunt down. These are the kinds of things, getting a sac bunt down here, that could maybe get him another inning or two and could get him a win. If Garza can help manufacture a run here in the third inning. Most managers don't expect their pitchers to hit a lick, but they do expect them to get down bunts. That's part of the gig, and Matt has worked very hard at it, just hasn't had much success. That'll work.
Right.
Nicely done. His first sacrifice of the season.
You brought up a great point, Len. Pitchers that are able to do the little things. Obviously, their most important duty is to go out there on the mound and keep the other team off the board. But when you can get down a bunt or put the ball in play swinging away, field your position, your manager's more likely to give you the leeway late in a close ball game, let you take that one more at bat, stay in the game for one more inning, which sometimes makes a difference between a loss or a no decision and a victory.
I think a good example is Ryan Dempster. If the pitcher spot came up late in a game and you needed a bunt, he would probably get it. You don't have to remove Dempster to have a pinch hitter come in and lay down a bunt. In fact, Dempster's been used as a pinch hitter with the purpose of bunting.
It's a nice luxury to have as a manager in those game situations where you don't want to burn one of your position players just to go to the plate and put down a sacrifice bunt. But you have a pitcher available on your bench, one of your starters who's not scheduled to throw that day, and he's really good at it. Well, you can save that position player, use him later in the ball game, maybe as a defensive replacement or a pinch runner or a pinch hitter in a key situation.
It's the 1-0 to Jesus as Garcia pops them in at 88. 1-1.
Jaime Garcia obviously had some garlic for lunch, didn't want to offend his catcher, so was very polite to talk into his glove there.
That's why. Yeah. One. A bouncer to Tyler Green with Mather advancing to third. Pitch to Darwin Barney, fly ball, center field. Schumacher, no problem, and he one-hands it for the final out. So the Cubs cannot get Mather to the dish. They lead 1-0 at the end of 3.
Others are content to imitate. We'll continue to innovate. The Lexus RX. Why settle for a copy when you can own the original? See your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer.
Mark.
Welcome to Midas.
I'm Claire. My car's making a funny noise.
All right, let's have a look at it. So how'd you hear about us?
When you treat people right, word gets around.
Oh, you
Midas. Total car care, total customer care.
Laces? Really? Slip-on's the way to go. More people did that, security would be like a...
There's no charge for the bag.
Thanks. I know a quiet little place where we can get some work done is a 3-pronged plug.
I have club passes.
Get the mileage card with special perks on United, like a free checked bag, United Club passes, and priority boarding.
Thanks. Okay. What's your secret?
The United Mileage Plus Explorer card. Get it and you're in.
All right, so we have $10.
You could get 2 things for $4 and 1 for 2. Or 5 things for 2.
Or 1 for $6 and 2 for 2.
With Denny's 2, 4, 6, 8 value menu, we're open to all new ways to save you money. Denny's.
The 4th inning is brought to you by the new Doritos Locos Tacos from Taco Bell.
Cubs leading the Cardinals 1-0. That's not a good birthday. Well, they look like they're having fun. And finally a respite. Boy, that Red Series, surprised the flag stayed on the pole.
Oh, man. We got so used to leaning into the wind up here in the booth. When it finally stopped tonight, I almost fell forward into the upper deck. I'm sure the players enjoy this a lot more too. We talked about Darwin Barney telling us that mid-game this weekend he'd have to turn around between pitches and face into the wind. He got so cold and so tired of that wind blowing down the back of his neck, he had to turn around like a bison and face into the storm.
2, 3, and 4 for the Cards. Schumacher, Holiday, and Beltran. And that one is sprayed foul, out of play. We talk a lot about ground ball or fly ball pitchers, right? Well, Skip Schumacher is a big time ground ball hitter. He'll hit 3 ground balls for every fly ball. He's already grounded out once tonight. Swing and miss a whole lot.
Well, to quote Dirty Harry Callahan once again, a man has got to know his limitations. And Skip Schumacher's not the kind of guy that's going to hit a lot of home runs. He's probably going to make a lot of outs if he hits too many fly balls.
Another one on the ground, deflects off the glove of Baker for a base hit. Second hit for St. Louis. That's a leadoff single.
9 drives and ground balls, the order of the day for Skip Schumacher. Nice effort by Baker. He can only deflect it, unfortunately, away from Darwin Barney at second base.
So they have the leadoff man on for the first time. Big swing, and he fouled it back.
Schumacher was a stolen base threat at the minor league level. He hasn't really run much in the major leagues. Think back to the Whitey Herzog Cardinal teams that ran with reckless abandon, and then the Tony La Russa teams that kind of picked their spots. They were more of a hit and run kind of a ball club.
That's trouble. It's a fair ball into the left field corner. Soriano will pick it up. Schumacher's going to be held by Jose Oquendo, and the Cardinals have runners at second and third with no outs. And their cleanup man Beltran coming up.
Looks like Matt Holliday's starting to heat up a little bit. He was very cold when we saw him in St. Louis earlier in the season. Pretty nice play here by Soriano to barehand this ball and get it back in quickly. Jose Oquendo was hoping to send Schumacher around the corner, but because Soriano got the ball into the cutoff man so quickly, he had to throw up the stop sign.
Soriano coming over, and it's right on the ledge. Not quite sure he actually got to the spot. If he had gotten there, he would have had a shot at it.
A tough one there, going full speed. You know you're getting close to that brick wall, trying to track the ball and protect yourself against the wall at the same time. That would have been a spectacular catch if he was able to make it.
So foul strike on Beltran. Cubs shifting against him as he takes strike two. Mather way off the third base line. Castro shaded up the middle. Garza needs a strikeout or two here. Ground ball's going to tie it up. That's a 2-for-1. Beltran wanted to do more damage than that, but down 0-2. He does put the ball in play. He gets Schumacher to the dish, and he gets Holliday over to third with one out.
You said it, Lenny. He wanted to do more damage than that, but the good run producers in the game will find a way to pick up at least one of those RBIs in that situation. And with the Cubs playing their infield back, he's hoping to get an out in that situation. An easy ground ball to second base ties it up.
The block by Soto. The infield is in. Tie game, 1-1 in the fourth.
That was one of those breaking balls in the dirt that tried to get underneath the mask of Giovanni Soto. Climbs up his chest protector, hits off that little throat extension at the bottom of the mask. That's why you've heard me say it before, chin on chest. If you put your chin on the chest, you will protect that throat area. You'll be in a much better blocking position.
1-0 to Freeze. I think that hit him on the hand. Ooh, that's a dangerous spot. And the Cubs are going to argue that it got the bat.
Based on David Freese's reaction, I think it got all hand, and it didn't appear like he swung at that pitch. He started the bat but then stopped it right there.
I think it did hit the bat, but it hit his hand first. It kind of had to hit the bat the way he reacted, but I think you're right. Does set up a possible double play chance, but does add another base runner. And here's Yadier Molina. And as you mentioned, Bob, this is a spot where Molina definitely likes to go the other way.
And it's set up well for him too, with that big hole on the right side of the infield. He will ground into his share of double plays. As you can imagine, he's not a very swift base runner. 3 times this year already he's bounced into double plays.
Fastball tails inside. 1-0 the count. Single, double, ground out, hit batter. Down the right field line, but it twists out of play, or at least foul. 1-1.
Really, when you think about it, Len, as an offensive approach in this particular situation, you should want to hit that ball to the right side. You got the hole to work with, first of all. If you do happen to hit the ball right at Darwin Barney, it's unlikely that's going to be an easy double play turn. You can see how far away from the bag Starlin Castro is. I mean, everything would be in your favor as a hitter to try to work that ball to the right side of the field here. Talked about it many times in the past. That '84 Cubs team, as an opponent playing against them, they were as good as any team I ever saw of taking advantage of situational hitting. Where are the holes in the defense? Where is it going to be tougher for the defense to turn a double play if I hit the ball? And then they would go up there, and more often than not, they would execute exactly what they wanted to do.
This is going to give the Cardinals the lead. Holiday tagging. Freeze is going to hold it first, and Molina with a sacrifice fly makes it 2-1.
It's a lazy fly ball to the big part of the ballpark. Plenty deep enough to get the run home from third base. You'll see Holiday goes back to tag immediately. As David Freese saw that ball was going to be caught by Reed Johnson, he too went back to tag up at first base, but Reed hustled it back into Starlin Castro quickly to hold him at first.
So the 2 outs in this inning have resulted in runs. The ground out by Beltran, the sac fly by Molina. And it's Matt Carpenter. And he showed bunt, and by the time he squared around, I think both feet were out of the batter's box. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
Technically, the batter has to have both feet within the batter's box. Now, his heel is on the line, which technically means he is inside the batter's box, but it almost looked like his toe was on the plate. I'm not sure how to call that one. I think that was just a maneuver to try to open some holes defensively, show that bunt with no intention of trying to bunt for a base hit.
Short lead by Freese at first, and the fastball is a little bit outside. 3-1. Tyler Green on deck. And the second walk issued by Garza. They've both been to Carpenter.
Everything up and away in this sequence with the exception of the second pitch. That one strays too far off that outside corner. Carpenter getting a real good look at Matt Garza here tonight.
The Yankees are giving the Rangers a taste of their own medicine tonight. 7-2 New York in the bottom of the 7th in Texas. Derek Jeter is 4 for 4. A-Rod hit a 3-run homer. It went an estimated 419 feet. It was his 287th in a Yankee uniform, so he's tied on the all-time Yankee list with Bernie Williams for 6th place.
Even with a 7-2 lead late, do you think Joe Girardi and the Yankees feel good about that down in Arlington?
I wouldn't.
No.
Well, they do have CC on the mound, so that helps.
That helps. And they have Mariano Rivera in the bullpen if necessary, but boy, that Texas team, they can pound the ball.
It's outside. 2-2. It gets right through the legs of Soto and then rattles around behind the plate.
It is time for the Stanley Cup playoffs. This one sneaks through the 5-hole. You see Gio comes up just enough with the glove to give that ball room to get underneath all the way to the bricks.
So a wild pitch, and now second and third. Garza stays from the stretch for this 3-2. Bases loaded. Before that Yankee Ranger game tonight, Pudge Rodriguez officially announced his retirement. 14 times he was an All-Star, 13 Gold Gloves as a catcher, was the MVP in the American League in 1999. He told a story from an intra-squad game in spring training when he hit a home run off Nolan Ryan. So his next at bat, of course, Nolan hit him.
What a shock.
Fly ball right field, and David DeJesus will make the catch to end the inning. But the Cardinals get the lead with a couple of runs. It's now 2-1 St. Louis.
Turn left at Flying Car. Turn right at Explosion. Stay left at Lightning Bolt. U-turn. U-turn.
Yeah. Turn. Yeah. Turn. Yeah. Turn.
Introducing the entirely new RDX from Acura, the official vehicle of Marvel's The Avengers.
Is it really necessary to brew Coors Light down as low as 34 degrees? Does it really matter if every beer is filtered cold, aged cold, and packaged cold? Do the mountains really need to turn blue when your beer's as cold as the Rockies? Is Rocky Mountain cold refreshment really that important? You be the judge. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Can't believe I bought a 6-inch Subway breakfast sub and got this one free.
Really? Wow. You can buy one 6-inch sub and get another one free?
Any 6-inch sub before 9 a.m.
What? Oh, wait, you can get one 6-inch sub and get one free?
Before 9 a.m.
Buy one 6-inch sub and get one free.
Before 9 a.m.
Buy one 6-inch sub
and get another one free.
Before 9 a.m.
All April long.
Subway, eat fresh.
Follow the Cubs with the MLB.com @Bat12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @Bat to 31826 or visit Cubs.com for details. As we check in on our Menards grounds crew, taking care of that infield dirt, beautifully manicured. Cardinals now with a 2-1 lead after getting a couple off Matt Garza in the top of this inning. So Starlin Castro will lead it off for the Cubs. And he takes ball one. On the way. That's a strike on a changeup. Curveball low, 3-1. Soriano, then Baker. All righties. In fact, only one left-handed hitter in the lineup. That's the leadoff man, DeJesus, and a fly ball out to Schumacher in center. You know what we haven't seen on this homestand, Bob, by anybody? A home run.
Yeah. We've seen plenty of balls that were hit hard enough to leave the ballpark. They just could not get out of here with that stiff wind blowing out of the north. Starlin Castro should have had a couple of home runs in that last series against the Reds. A couple of deep drives right up against the wall in left field. Would have been way out onto Waveland Avenue.
Cubs have not homered in 8 consecutive games. Freeze to Carpenter, and Soriano is out.
Well, a quick inning is not what Matt Garza needed here after throwing 28 pitches in that top half of the inning. Really had to labor. I'd like to see him get a little bit of a breather in that third base dugout, but 2 quick outs here in the bottom half of the inning.
Sixth start of the year for Jeff Baker at first.
That's taking one for the team right there. When the guy in front of you in the order makes a quick out the way Alfonso Soriano did, and it looks like it's going to be a quick 1-2-3, and Baker just did get time out there. You've got to take until you get a strike. That third batter in the inning. You do not want to have a quick 4 or 5 pitch inning and force your pitcher right back out to the mound after he struggled in the half inning before.
This will be a very quick 1-2-3 inning. So Garcia now with a 2-1 lead, and Matt Garza right back out to the mound in the 5th.
The Mazda 3, a top safety pick with uncompromised performance. And now it's even more fuel efficient with available SkyActiv technology. We build Mazdas. What do you drive? Now get the Mazda 3 with 0.9% APR for a limited term.
Are you ready? Are you gonna get them all right?
Yes.
Okay.
P.
Good. And this?
N.
Yes. And this one is?
P.
Good. And what's this?
Cubs win.
That's right. Cubs win. That's my girl.
We're as obsessed as you are. Sportsnet Central, every night at 6:30, 10, 10:30 midnight on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. When it comes to Chicago sports, we're as obsessed as you are. Every night on Sportsnet Central. Get can't miss highlights.
Driving the net, shooting, Hawks win! Oh! Stop it!
In-depth interviews.
Come playoff time, it's about wins and losses, and it's not about individual success.
And the inside track of the teams you live for. Sportsnet Central, presented by CLR. Every night at midnight on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
It is time now for tonight's AT&T Mobility Trivia question. Since 1900, who has the most hits in their first 300 games with the Cubs? Starlin Castro is in his 300th game as a Cub. That's a good question. We get into the 5th, and Rafael Furcal leads it off. In case you're wondering, through 299 career games, Castro with 369 hits. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's really good. That's what he does. He's a hitter. Gets a bat on the ball. More often than not, finds holes in the defense.
And a base hit for Call. Slaps one past Joe Mathern in the left. Qdoba is giving the first 20,000 fans the chance to win free food if the Cubs get a base hit in the 5th inning. Fans with a base hit for burritos game card win a free entree.
Free food. We'll see how Mike Matheny, the Cardinal manager, chooses to play it here with a 1-run lead in the ball game. Has a very accomplished bunter at the plate. Good speed on it first. Schumacher, as Len mentioned in his last at bat, also a severe ground ball hitter. Could be an opportunity to play some hit and run.
Mike Matheny is the youngest active manager in the big leagues at 41 years old.
Well, and there are those that would say that for the last 4 or 5 years of his playing career, he was already thinking about managing and thinking like a manager. It's a little bit different when you're behind the plate thinking like a manager, and when you're actually the manager and you are accountable for the things that happen on the field, the strategies that you employ, the pitching changes that you make, the lineups you fill out on a daily basis.
It's a pretty good start right there for a first-year skipper. Well, what a difference, isn't it, when you get that leadoff guy? Cardinals scoring inning was the 4th when the first 2 reached, and they have the leadoff man on yet again, and Percal just faked towards second. Barney will spin, get one, no relay throw. Fielder's choice for Schumacher.
That's one particular situation, Len, where Percal bluffing over there at first base tipped off Darwin Barney that he had enough time to get the lead man. Not only that, but Percal had to jump over the ball as he was advancing onto second base. So good decision by Darwin Barney to wheel around, fire to Castro, get the lead runner. If you can complete the double play, that's a bonus. But now you have the double play in order once again.
Holiday already 2 for 2 with a double and a run.
And of all the Cardinals hitters, Holiday looks like he can get to that inside Matt Garza fastball.
That caught the outside corner, 1-1.
Talked about that high leg kick that he features with the left foot as Matt Garza is delivering the ball to home plate. And I mentioned earlier, it's a very fine line. Getting it down too early, getting it down too late, but his timing has appeared to be pretty good his first 2 at bats.
And Schumacher takes off. Garza to Barney to Baker. Tag applied. It wasn't the prettiest play I've ever seen, but Matt Garza did step off in time, didn't balk, and they get him.
Yeah, that was the key. He steps off, and now he becomes an infielder. That's the scary part. Anytime Matt Garza has to throw the ball overhand other than delivering a pitch, he has no idea where it's going.
So just like that, 2 outs, and the base is empty, and a 1-1 count on Holiday. Deep breath by Garza. Looks like Gio wants a slider here on the 2-1.
Another borderline pitch on that outside corner. Might have been up a little more than Matt Garza wanted, but looked like it might have caught that corner according to pitch tracks. Borderline strike.
Lined into center. Reed Johnson with a shoestring catch to end the inning. Nicely done. Pitchers duel from Wrigley. 2-1 Cardinals.
Chili's $20 dinner for 2 has a bold new favorite, steak. First share an appetizer, then choose 2 entrees, like our 100% USDA choice sirloin, available for a limited time on Chili's $20 dinner for 2.
That right there reminds you why you fell in love with her in the first place and why you still feel the same. But your erectile dysfunction, that could be a question of blood flow. Cialis for daily use helps you be ready anytime the moment's right. You can be more confident in your ability to be ready. And the same Cialis is the only daily ED tablet approved to treat ED and symptoms of BPH, like needing to go frequently or urgently. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions and medications and ask if your heart is healthy enough for sexual activity. Do not take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Do not drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss in hearing or vision, or if you have any allergic reactions such as rash, hives, swelling of the lips, tongue, or throat, or difficulty breathing or swallowing, stop taking Cialis and get medical help right away. Ask your doctor about Cialis for daily use and a 30-tablet free trial.
Tomorrow, Cubs action heats up at Wrigley as the Northsiders do battle with the arch-rival Cards. Don't miss a division rivalry driven by Mazda. Cubs Cardinals tomorrow night at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Hi, I'm David Kaplan here with a Coors Light Cold Blast Sportsnet Central update. A programming reminder here from your friends at Comcast Sportsnet. Game 6 between the Blackhawks and Coyotes is live right now on the CSN main channel. And the White Sox and A's will face off on Comcast Sportsnet Plus 2 at 9 o'clock. We've got you covered on another big night of Chicago sports. Now back to Len and Bob at the friendly confines.
All right, Cap, thanks very much. Cubs trailing 2-1. They got their run in the first as Soto grounds one foul. Not much margin for error. The Cardinals, one of the best teams in baseball, off to a great start, and a good pitcher's duel here.
Yeah, really good pitcher's duel. Matt Garza's thrown the ball extremely well. Ran into some problems there in that top half of the 4th inning, but still featuring some really good stuff. Came back after a very short bottom half of that inning.
Yeah, drop by Furcal and an error. Let's see if the Cubs can take advantage. We saw a ton of defensive miscues on both sides over the weekend against the Reds.
I mentioned earlier in the show the Cardinals were leading the National League for fewest errors with 8 on the season. This will be number 9 as Furcal. To backhand that ball. Giovanni Soto running down that first baseline probably had plenty of time to step around in front and crow hop across the diamond and make his throw, but chooses to go to the backhand and can't play it cleanly.
Here's Reed Johnson. Grounded out his first time up. And a one bouncer for Call gets another chance, and they turn two. Scalded by Johnson on one hop to Furcal, and that's exactly what a veteran infielder wants after committing an error. Hit it to me again.
You're right. Reed Johnson hit it right on the nose. Unfortunately, right at Furcal, who stabs that high bouncer out of midair. Cardinals turn it into a really quick double play, and we're on the verge of another real fast Cubs inning here.
Mather really taking his time getting ready to hit. Garcia was chomping at the bit to throw a pitch. Ball one.
I mean, if you can't be patient enough to take some pitches in the at bat, do something else. Tie your shoe, get something in your eye, somehow extend this inning a little bit more.
Nasty changeup, 1-1. Well, the Cubs again tonight. Not hitting for power. 3 hits. They've all been singles. 2 of them in the first inning were infield hits.
I think we're going to see one tonight, though. And this kind of night, the ball will jump. You get it up in the air with some authority. No wind at all right now. The question is, will Jaime Garcia make some mistakes that the Cubs can elevate?
And ball 4. Maybe a little bit of a workaround situation. A lot of changeups in that sequence. Garza will head to the batter's box.
And once again, in keeping with the theme of extending this bottom half of the inning, personally, I'd like to see Matt Garza take until he gets a strike. He's probably not going to hit anything that's going to score Joe Mather from first base. So try to make Jaime Garcia throw as many pitches as you can see in this at bat.
Went after ball 1. An error, a double play, and then a 2-out walk. And a 1-1 pitch to Garza. Bounced into right. Late swing, and it worked out well as he found the hole on the right side.
Sometimes the worst swings get the best results. Just pounded that ball down into the ground to the right side of the field, but fortunately for Matt Garza and the Cubs, you see Carpenter holding on. Joe Mather at first has no range to get to that bouncer. It gets through for a base hit.
If you're wondering, for Matt Garza, that is his 7th career hit. In his 84th official at bat. And a curveball catches the outside corner for a strike to DeJesus. I'm overstating it, Bob, to say that for Matt Garza, in terms of all around hitting, defense. And he hasn't pitched that badly tonight. This might be his best overall game when you consider how much he has struggled with the other facets. Mather was dancing off second. And Garcia stepped off. And nobody's expecting Matt to be a Silver Slugger winner at the plate or a Gold Glover on the mound, but just make the routine plays, get the bunts down, and tonight he has done that.
Like any player at any level, you want to get better. It doesn't matter what you've achieved in your career, if you've been an MVP in the league or a Cy Young winner on the mound. You have to feel like there are always things